Everything is in vibration. If you want to change your physical reality, you need to go to the frequency that actually created it, change the vibrational, and then it impacts the physical. I wanted to take you back to the source, work with sound to impact the physical world around you. All right, so check this out. Over a century ago, there was a Sufi mystic, Hazrat Inayat Khan. This is the dude. And he said, he who knows the secret of sound knows the secret of the whole universe. He or she who knows the secret of sound knows the secret of the whole universe. And you might think, oh, that's a nice little phrase, poem. But if you sit with it for a moment, and if you start to explore sound a little bit more deeply and how it can actually impact you, your biology, your life, stuff I talk about here on the channel, that you start to realize he was actually speaking to the key to consciousness, the key to reality. He was speaking some ancient wisdom. This is before quantum physics, before string theory, before modern science. And what was going on in these ancient lineages was stuff that only now we're starting to be able to measure in the lab. Everything is vibration. This book, this me, my body, all aspects, all cells, everything is in vibration, just different forms of vibration, or I like to say different octaves of frequency, octaves of consciousness. And that if you want to change your physical reality, you don't start with the physical. You need to go upstream, right? You need to go to the source, to the frequency that actually created it. So you start working with the shift in the frequency and change the vibrational aspect of it, and then it impacts the physical. So today, that's where I want to go, is to take you back to the source of the river and really start to realize how to work with sound to impact the physical world around you. Sound good? Shall we give it a go? I just want to start with Hazrat Inayat Khan. I've had this book by my bed for years, and you could see all the different highlighted and underlined pages in here, because this is like a guidebook. This is like my manual. This is my manual to sound healing. He was a Sufi master, so he's classically trained musician from India to begin with. He was one of the first people to bring Eastern mysticism or Eastern wisdom into the Western world around the early 20th centuries. And he spent his life holding on to this one core idea that the entire universe is music. This book here is called The Music of Life, and that's what he stood for. It's not like metaphorically, but as a reality. And another thing that he wrote here, I'm going to read this to you because it's one of my favorite quotes and I want to get it right. So he says, the whole of life in all its aspects is one music. And to tune oneself to the harmony of this perfect music is the real spiritual attainment. The whole of life in all its aspects is one music. That part right there just like brings it home for me. And then to tune yourself to its harmony, that's spiritual attainment. That's transcendence. That's like enlightenment, right? And the reason that I love this is because it really speaks to something that I experienced. And I was down in the jungles of Peru working with some teachers there, and there was a ceremony that was going on that I was a part of. And sound healers today who got really expensive crystal bowls or the perfect gong, so many beautiful instruments that are now integrated into sound healing. But we're talking in the jungle here, and these cats are working with just a bundle of leaves and a little rattle or something, not much. So this dude was like doing his ikeros, his chanting, his prayers, and it was like I was moving and shaking the leaves and really going for it. And when the ceremony, we're in a bit of an altered state from the journey and everything that's unfolding. And so this music is just like moving through every cell of my being. Like I can just hear him, just the rattle and the shaking and the chanting. His intention behind it is so powerful. He's just really summoning spirit, really summoning the sacred space for us to journey in. And then at one point, he paused and he put the shaker down and he stepped out for a moment. And I swear that he turned on a CD or something, some amazing track. He's somehow in the middle of the jungle there. He got reception and was like tuning into Spotify or something. It took me a moment. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most profound piece of music that I've ever heard in my life. I've got to ask him what that is after the ceremony so that I can get that and listen to it again. In that moment, almost instantaneously, I realized, wait a minute, we're in a hut. There's only screens as walls. The spiders are crawling and the snakes are wrapped around the rafters in the roof, and we're peeing in a hole outside. And it's like, there's no electricity, no plumbing, no nothing. We're miles from any type of civilization. So what was it, right? What was that sound? What was this beautiful track? It was the jungle, and not just the animals scurrying or the leaves blowing, that kind of stuff. Literally, the sound of life was emanating out of that jungle, and I could hear it. Because of the state that I was in, I could hear what Hazrat was talking about, this whole of life in all of its aspects being one music. It was that one music. And in that moment, I was tuned to it. I was like, that really shifted something in me, because before that time, I was reading about sound healing, and I was reading in his work, you name it. I was diving into it and exploring it, working with sound in healing ways, but I hadn't fully embodied it. It was like that moment, it just hit me, and I was like, this is what it feels like to resonate with the harmonics and the harmony of the universe. And it was amazing, and it just changed my whole life. And it's like I walked out of that jungle and I brought that wisdom and that sound and that song with me. And it's then kind of resonated through me and through my work from that point on. So I really deeply feel what he's talking about when he says that, and how there's a symphony that we're all participating in, and that our journey is meant to be aligning ourselves with that divine song, that soul song, so to speak. The thing is that somewhere along the way, we've gotten off beat. We're out of rhythm with ourselves and with the harmonies of life itself. We've just hit the mute button. We're not even listening to it anymore, are we? We've got so much noise around us that how could we hear it? We are up at all hours of the night. We're moving at a pace that we weren't designed for. We're digesting information and processed foods that were never meant to be digested. It's about going back to that simple connection to source and to that rhythm of life and the song of our soul that's wanting to sing through us. Another thing that I want to dive into is this idea then that the Sufi mystics talked about, where there's two types of sounds. You got what's called a Ahata sound, which means a struck sound, beating two sticks together, or beating a drum, or it's a physical sound. It's like what you hear in the physical world. That's Ahata, right? And it's something that's struck. It's got to have a physical object to create the sound, right? Vocal cords vibrating, another Ahata sound. It's just sound as we normally understand it, what we hear with our ears, the vibrations, all that stuff, the mechanical pressure waves. That's what is Ahata, right? But then there's a second sound that's called Anahata. Anahata sound translates literally, right, as the unstruck sound. So its sound doesn't need anything physical to be made. It's the unbeaten drum, the celestial primordial frequency that exists without friction, without contact, the hum of the universe, the cosmic hum, it's creation itself. If you could hear creation itself, this would be Anahata. Hazrat Inayat Khan understood this. He speaks to this in his books and in his work and in his philosophies. It's all about that, the Anahata frequency, that when you align your breath, your voice, and your intention, you build this bridge between that physical and the divine. Now, you don't build this connection by forcing it, pushing it, doing it. It's just the way you are. It's the way you're being. It's the harmony that you hold inside. In the ancients, they called this attunement, right? So when you are in harmony with yourself, when your breath, your heart, your body, and your energy are all in harmony, resonating together, that's what they called attunement. And that's when you attune to Anahata, and the bridge is built for you to receive that divine harmony within you. It's almost like enlightenment, right? And you look at heart math and what modern science calls that now, they call that coherence. And they can actually measure this heart coherence that we get in when our heart and our mind are in harmony. They're resonating together. And another name for that is the flow state, right? So same phenomena, same experience. And you know what's at the source of it all that allows you to move into that resonance? It's your voice, the most powerful healing instrument on the planet that ever was, your own voice. Because within that, you have an energetic of awareness, of intention, of energy that you can imbue the sound of your voice with. And it gets layered in there, and it's a direct bridge from Anahata through Ahata into the world around you. You might be hearing all this, be like, that's cool, woo-woo spiritual stuff about sound, but how does it help me? What's the benefit of this, right? And that's the thing, is that you want to try and use this concept, this idea, in a way to benefit you in your life as a task. What do I do? How do I harness this? How do I force this to create an outcome that I want in my life? What do I need to have? What diploma do I need to get? What degree? What training? What relationship? What car? What house? What do I need to have so that I can do the things that I want to do, and then be in the life that I want to be in, right? That's how we live, is the have, do, be. And it's this mental construct of the wheel force and the doing and the pushing and forging our way into our worlds that the modern world is sitting on. And it's actually what's destroying the modern world, where we have to flip it and move from the heart, which is first the presence. So it's the being first. So instead of the have, do, and the be, we have to be, nurture a presence, which is what Hazrat Inayat is talking about. He's saying, when you tune yourself, so the tuning is holding a attunement inside of you, or a coherence inside of you, and that coherence then aligns you into a different state of being, and that state of being then inspires the things to do that divine consciousness would do, not a stressed out, overwhelmed, fear-filled, anxious consciousness, a consciousness that is in harmony with the cosmos. And when you're in harmony with the cosmos, you have access to everything that ever was, is, or will be. All your dreams, desires, and goals are met instantaneously, because you're one with that one song, that divine song. And then ultimately, from the being and the inspired doing, you get to have the experience of that which you desire. So it's like, that's the way of the heart instead of the way of the mind. And so from that, then we start to understand how these cultures had this different way of meeting the world and being in the world, which is why most of these cultures, you see that there are traditions and ceremonies that all utilize sound and music and dance and rhythm, and it was just naturally in their everyday life. We've divorced ourselves from that. We've put that on the shelf. We don't have time to be. We don't have time to nurture our presence. We just do, and hope that if we do enough, fast enough, that we will get the things that we need to have in our lives. So it's critical to understand that if you are in a place of survival, which is what all the doing's about, and you're in this place of survival, you're not in harmony, there's no way that you're going to attract harmony or align yourself with harmony. Your nervous system's in chaos. How can you create harmony with a chaotic nervous system? You can't. This is where self-regulation comes in. This is where using your voice to soothe and satiate the nervous system comes in. So your vibrational signature then is actually the frequency you're transmitting into the world through your breath, through your body, through your emotions and your thoughts. You can't kid yourself about that. Your world is the way that it is because of the vibration you're holding within yourself, and those four things: the breath, the body, the emotions, and your thoughts. Those four things in chaos, and you're experiencing a chaotic world, you can't do enough to change that chaotic world until you meet yourself and those four aspects in a place of coherence and harmony. That's when you'll start to see the world around you being more harmonious, more at peace, more in love. The key: tune yourself first. Regulate the nervous system first. Open the breath. Let the voice move. And from that place, your intention becomes powerful, because it's no longer just thoughts, things that I have to do coming from a stressed out body. It becomes a clean signal transmitted through the coherent instrument of you into a universe that is, as Hazrat said, all music. So get your frequency right, get your vibe right, and then you'll thrive in this life. Does that make sense? So, like I always say, let's practice together and let's dive into intentional sound. Not just making noise, nothing to do with singing. Like, this is just sound, an intentional sound, awareness plus an intention plus the sound then equals the transformation or the healing. So we ultimately want to attune ourselves to that divine harmony. And where do we go? We're going to go right into the heart. Heart is the biggest resonator. You can measure it, your biggest torus of energy out of your body. You can put a hand on the heart and the energetic heart right here in the center, maybe a little bit higher, and just drop in. Now remember, it's not do. We're not going to do first. We'll take a breath and make a noise. Like, we've got to be first. So presence first. Presence first. So just sit for a moment. Sit up. Let your shoulders relax. Let go of your mind. Just feel your chest and feel that heart. You can start with the body, the physical, the beat of the heart, the rhythm of the breath. And that'll naturally then open to an awareness of the thoughts and an awareness of the emotions that are just there. Emotions that are always there in this moment, but we're too busy to stop and actually feel them. So just give yourself this gift to be present with yourself for a moment or two and breathe into that presence in your heart. And then we're going to let sound emerge from that heart. So whatever you're feeling, whatever's there, just use the ah sound. Ah is usually associated with the heart. And it's also a very easy sound to make because you just relax your jaw and open up. So whatever you're feeling in the heart as you deepen your awareness and sit in presence with yourself and your heart, your energy, your essence. Just like this, deep breath in. Like, it's just a release. It doesn't have to be musical. So whatever is there, let it go. Notice how that makes you feel then. Anything else you're holding, anything else is there, anything you're feeling, observing, whatever presence, put that into sound. And now, with our power of intention, our ability to focus, feel a sense of gratitude. How lucky are we to have a body? How lucky are we to have a moment to pause? How lucky are we to have this breath, to have all this technology to connect? How lucky are we? Just be grateful for this moment, for this opportunity, for the ability to feel, for the ability to breathe, hear, for the ability to be present. Be grateful, be thankful. And just feel that gratitude. Let it then expand from the chest into the belly. And let that gratitude then expand down into the hips, into the legs, rising up to the shoulders, down the arms, the back, the neck, the head. Your whole body feeling grateful. And that grateful is a frequency, it's a vibration. And let it build, let it grow, let it expand. And we're going to put that gratitude then into the ah sound. So deep breath in. again. And softly for surrender. And silent. Just be with the sensations. Notice how you feel. Notice how the room you're in feels. There's a difference from when we started. You can feel the stillness, you can feel the resonance in the room. By infusing that presence into the sound, that's what Hazrat was talking about. Breath, heart, voice align. You're not just making sound. You're literally transmitting a new frequency. Not only into your experience, but into the world around you. You ever go into a place where people pray or choirs sing or this type of thing? It's like there's a feeling, a tone, there's a literal tone in this room, in these rooms, in these places of worship, in these places of prayer, in these beautiful places. And just as much as places where horrific things have happened, there's a disharmony in there. You can feel it in the room. It is imbued in the bricks, in the wall, in the mortar. And that's what we have the ability to do, is to impact ourselves in the world that we're in through conscious expression of sound. Because resonance is everywhere. It's everything. Everything is vibration. The question is, are you tuning yourself to the divine vibration or allowing yourself to be out of balance and stay in chaos? Wonder why. It's up to you. It's not just a passive experience, and that there's this ancient wisdom that we have access to when we start taking the time to nurture a relationship to sound. And Hazrat understood this over 100 years ago, and that was the way of life. It was the way that they lived. And now modern science is catching up. They're exploring the electromagnetic field of the heart, the neuroscience of the brainwave shifts, the cymatics showing us how sound literally structures physical form, so forth and so on. There's so much information and wisdom here that's pointing to the same thing, that everything is vibration, and we are the conductor of the song that we want to sing in our lives. We are the musicians to life. We are the singers of the soul, the vocalist of vibration, the artist of, I don't know, forget it. That's all I got. I'm tapped out. But just keep playing with it. This video is just a taster, just to get your head around this and start exploring it. Put a comment below. How does that make you feel? What do you think about all this mystical sound healing stuff? Does it resonate with you? Pun intended. There's more stuff coming. We've got lots of cool things in the queue here, with a masterclass on how to work with sound in a healing way, transform your life. There's 21-day processes, retreats, workshops, like you name it, online, here, there, in person. Love to meet you. Much love. See you soon.